Hello, everybody. This is Frogman, and welcome back to Levitated. Last episode, we did a bunch of work. We got a few things done, and I said we were going to try to get to a certain point in the quest book, and I have been working towards that point for quite a while. So let's go ahead and show you guys a couple of things that I know you probably haven't seen. I went ahead and made 2 improved blast furnaces and have since processed a reasonable amount of steel. We've been kind of just slowly tossing iron and things into stuff as that goes. So let's go down here. In here, I have went ahead and changed out the original coke ovens for the advanced coke oven versions, and I actually think I have the audio down right now because they're kind of loud. So I went ahead and let's see, these, I think those are going to be blocks. That's better. They're kind of loud. They're kind of annoying. It's kind of one of those things that's been going on. So I did do quite a bit of stuff in the nether, so we'll go check that out really quickly. Mainly what I want to show you is that, well, I've been busy and I've been trying really hard to find silver. I spent several hours after the last episode looking for silver, and I've spent quite a few hours today looking for silver, but we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 by probably about 10 in every direction, trying to figure out where silver is supposed to spawn, how to get silver to spawn. I've kind of been just following the edge of the lava lake so that I can kind of come up with a way of making this work. I would go down there, but we can't right now because I kind of did a little bit of goofing around. Does it show on the map over here? No, it doesn't. Okay. What I got bored and I came in here and I removed the portal, and then I moved it. Wish that wasn't so loud. I moved the portal from inside the nether. I took that portal and I moved it to the other base and then put it up so that I could try to hopefully get some more chunks. And then I remembered that, 1,000 blocks in the overworld versus 1,000 blocks in the nether is quite a long ways to go, because of the little bitty math thing that you do. So anyhow, I have decided that we are going to take a different direction. And there's a reason why we need to get to silver. So let's recount on why we need silver. Silver, for one, I need silver to be able to craft the resonators. We need at least 1 piece of silver to craft the resonator so that we can do this little section. As you notice, there's a couple other things that have been changed or done in here. We also need 9 pieces of silver to make an altar of life. In order to be able to start down this line, in order to be able to do something, in order to be even able to make the orchid that will allow us to mine silver in the nether or wherever it is, however that orchid works. In order to be able to make silver at all, we need 9 pieces of silver for this thing so that we can then work through this little silly line. And what I'm talking about is if I wanted to try to be able to produce it without having to do 2 things, one of which is going to be the excavator. The way we're probably going to be doing a lot of our materials is going to be with the orchids. So the orchids only works in the nether. This one requires and follow me here with why we need silver. This one requires magma slime crystals, which, if I could get so lucky as to find a magma slime island in the nether, which I haven't, that would be how we would do it. The thing is, we need the slime balls. We need that particular slime ball. Well, that particular slime ball has been got with is made with a loot fabricator with a pristine blue slime matter. Pristine blue slime matter, of course, is going to take a blue slime ball. And a blue slime ball we're only going to get if we spawn a blue slime. And a blue slime, where is it? Blue slime, egg. It's that thing right there. Can be crafted with the summoning altar with a couple of mana powder, a slime ball, some lapis, and a bucket of blood. And a summoning altar requires 9 blocks, or 9 ingots of silver, manulin, solarium. We can do everything in here right now except for this, because I did, in between episodes, find some ardite. So we do have a little bit of ardite now, and I do have a little bit of stuff. So I have given up on trying to build chunks to do things. That was several hours worth of work, so let's do this the way we probably should have done it in the first place. There is a way of getting silver, and it's going to be the other way around, and it's pretty much the way everybody else probably tends to pay attention or at least do it. We can get silver dust if we crush lead ore at a 10% chance. Now, I don't have access to a pulverizer. I don't have access to any other kinds of things at this point. But what we do have is access to some of the stuff in immersive engineering. So we're going to build a crusher today. And then we're going to crush enough lead to be able to make enough silver so that we can continue on with this silly little process. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find all of my treated wood that I know I have. And we're going to go ahead and make us a couple of things just so that we can make some of this stuff a little bit cheaper. So we need to make some treated wood stuff. So treated wood fence would be good. I think we need at least one. That'll work. And then we need to use that to make one of those, which is going to be an engineer's workbench. And we need this right now because we need to be as cheap on stuff as we possibly can. So the first thing I think, did I already do this? Let me go look. I know I made a whole bunch of parts in between episodes. Good deal. I did. All right. Let's grab did I make some steel? I think I did too, but I'm not worried about it. Let's grab a bunch of this steel, and I'm going to grab that many of those, and we're going to take this, make sure we have the plate mold in there so that we can do this as cheaply as possible. Put that in there, and you just go ahead and make a bunch of that stuff because eventually we're going to want a whole bunch of steel plates. So we'll let that work while we do some of this silliness. So I need to be able to make a blueprint for the parts pieces. Where is it? Probably going to be this one. So we need copper, aluminum, and iron along with some lapis. So 1, 2, and I think the aluminum is in where? There. 1, 2, 3. And do we have any paper in that? I really, really, really need to get a little bit more organized, but that's all we should need for right there. Let's make the component blueprint, which is going to be that dude right there. All right, so that will allow us to make the iron and steel mechanical components cheaper, and it will also allow us to make the vacuum tube, which we can start actually utilizing fairly soon if we so choose. Let's put some of this wood away. We don't need it right now. All right, so in order to make the crusher, which we have been making in many of our things, or many of the recent playthroughs, we need a few things. We need 10 steel scaffolding, we need 1 redstone engineering block, 10 light engineering blocks, 8 steel fence, and 9 hoppers. All right, hoppers. Let's make a few of those. All right, steel fence. Steel fence is going to be kind of expensive because we have to make steel rods as such. So let's see. How much did it want? It said it wanted 8 or 9? 8. And that gets made in a 3x3. So we'll just do this. Do about that much. Perfect. We're going to use those later on. Actually, just go ahead and craft all of them. We're going to use them for other things. All right, so those are the easy parts. Now we need to make the scaffolding. And the scaffolding is where this gets a little expensive because we need to do this. But I think I only really need, and I'm going to go ahead and make a bunch of scaffolding anyway. Go ahead, finish it. Just get rid of all those pieces of steel. We will use these for sure. We will use these. All right, now those are that part. This is that we should be able to go to the next section, which is going to be redstone engineering blocks. Redstone engineering blocks. Let's do that real quick. Engineering blocks. Go. Done. And then we need to work on our light engineering blocks. Now, light engineering is going to require several of these. So every 2 of these, we need 2 of those. So we have the ability, we're going to need what, 10 of those? What did they say? 10 light engineering blocks. Let's go ahead and craft. I need some copper. Give me a stack of that. Thank you. I already made a whole bunch of iron plates as it is, so let's do this, and we're going to use them, so eat them up. And then light engineering blocks. There we go. Cool. All right, nice. Wonderful. I should have gone ahead and used those anyway, but we need these for other things. Let's put those where we need them. Yeah, there's some steel plates. Good deal. All right, nice. Empty our inventory. Let's put this in here, that in there, and that should be all of that. Do the old fun stuff. Let's put this down. I do not have a projector on me, and I'm not going to build one for this little process. So let's stick this thing over here in this corner. And we're going to build it, I think, so that the power block is going to be on the side away from us. So I want to build it inverted from what this says. Yeah, okay, cool. So let's do this. What are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's fine. We'll just put it right there. And I think it should be one of these in the middle. Like that, and I think I'm missing one in the front, correct? Yes, right there. All right, that should go like this. Then we need the fence to go around the outside edges. The redstone block over in the corner, and these hoppers on top of the fence. So, not like we haven't made several dozen of these in our Minecraft careers to remember how this silliness works. And if I whack that block right there, where is it? Unless I can't rotate this in this version. What did I do wrong? Oh, yeah. I always forget that dude. Right there. That guy. Right there. Now do it. There we go. Awesome. Okay, cool. On to the fun part. Now, let's go grab us a chest, which I should have already grabbed. This thing's going to chew up some power. This thing's going to eat power. This thing is going to eat every little bit of ounce of power we've got laying around. I think for the most part, these things are going to take somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 RF a tick to run at a reasonable pace. So what we're going to do is, can I get up on here, please, without falling in the thing? I'm going to put this on it. Now, you're going, well, how did you get a flux plug, flux point kind of thing? I made them because I needed them. So we're going to do about 120 RF a tick for the moment to let this thing kind of work. Let's talk about these really quick, because I got really tired of carrying around those capacitor banks to the point I made 2 things. We'll go look at the 2 things I made. Should say 3. The first thing I made was one of those, an ender generator. And an ender generator required me to almost blow myself up again. Ender gen. Right here. Ender generator required me to almost blow myself up again because I had to make another machine block. Now, we have the ability to make all of these little parts and pieces at this point. All of these alloys, except for the current alloy that we're working on right now, we have the ability to make. So I made one of those, and I carried that thing around with me, and I set it down, and then I realized I'm wasting the amount of an ender pearl that is used to take the thing, because of the fact that it says it's 64,000 RF a tick, 64,000 RF at 40 RF a tick. It does not take a minute and a whatever it is to rebuild a chunk in the nether, so I'm wasting the energy. So I decided instead we're going to make a flux plug and a flux point. Now, this sounded crazy. We looked at it early on in the pack and was like, well, this is pretty stinking hard, or this is going to end up being hard. And it's not really. Actually, I need to make sure we do this. Flux Networks is, again, another one of those wonderful wireless transmission things that we're going to use eventually as we work our way through this pack. But the points and the plugs both share a commonality, which is they both need to have an omnidirectional connector made. And an omnidirectional connector is made with a logic director. And we just touched on this in Compact Claustrophobia. A logic director is we need crystallized chorus chunks. And of course, crystallized chorus chunks come from a mechanical squeezer that squeezes pop chorus fruit. So we have tons and tons of chorus fruit. We also take the liquid chorus that comes off of that and put it through a mechanical drying basin and get a little bit more stuff. So it just took me doing a couple of things to get that done. That omnidirectional connector. Again, it's not impossible to build because it's just a bunch of just random pieces, parts, and stuff from various other mods, or from the that mod, whatever it is. Anyhow, it wasn't that hard to build those guys. Now that I have them, or at least 2 of them, what I was doing is I was taking this flux point and then I was walking it and the terrain scanner around. So now that we have this thing charged up, we're going to work on something that's probably not going to take as long. God, can you get on top of this thing? Because why not? It took me about 30 minutes to get a stack and 8 lead ore. It took me 4 hours to make that many chunks in the nether. All I need is 10 pieces. Now, I may have to spend a lot of time doing this because it's a 10% chance. You should already be done. Okay. It's a 10% chance. So we're going to just toss a stack of lead in there and hope that we can get it. But again, it's so much simpler and so much easier to go mining for this than it is for the other stuff. Now, that may end up chewing up all of my power, but we have a reasonably decent amount of power stored. So I'm just going to let that run. That didn't even kick this thing on yet. But we really need that silver in order to go on further. We need at least 9 pieces. I'm just going to put it like that. We need at least 9 pieces. So let's do the next fun thing. That's a lot of steel. And I really don't want to do what I'm fixing to do. But we're going to do it anyway. I need to start the next line of things. What did we do with it? Do I have any more of that? Do I have any more gunpowder? Do I have any more flint? I do. Cool. You should be able to do that. You do this. Thank you. Do we have any sand? Yes, we do. What are we making? We're making the next step. While we wait on that pile of stuff to do what it needs to do, I hope I can get enough out of those. So we have a lever. We have a few things. Let's go check on the crusher really quick. 2. Awesome. It's more than I found in 8 hours of messing around. Let's go to the old base. And let's find us a nice little spot somewhere. That looks like a good spot. Can I have this before I blow it up? How do we get into the next step that we need to get into? Well, we're going to do the usual of blowing things up. And I need to take my magnet off. Seems like every mod has some kind of something to blow things up with. So let's do this way. We're going to make it nice and pretty. I'm going to throw it in a hole. I'm going to grab my dank null and do that and put one of these right there. And hopefully... Oh, you sucker. Did we get any? Thank you. Excellent. Compressed steel. Notice. Compressed steel ingots. Not compressed iron. Compressed steel. Every single thing we're going to put into Pneumatic Craft. Every single silly little thing, to include all the stuff we're going to be using for the circuits, are going to be made out of steel. So we're going to have to really crank up. Really crank up the steel production. Look at that. Nice. I got just enough to do the thing that I needed to do the thing to do the stuff. So let's go ahead and work on this little process while we're here. That got us to... Where are we? We're going down this line over here. Pressure is on. Blowing up steel ingots with TNT will compress them into a denser material, which is just suitable for making PCBs. Every single one of these is going to need a piece of this stuff, which is insane. Which I guess is every piece is a piece of iron that has been cooked in some kind of form of way to make steel. All right. You need machines to print circuit boards. After all, assembly in a dust-free environment could be ideal. Craft a pressure chamber wall. Pressure chamber. Pressure. Spell, please. Can't spell. There we go. Pressure chamber. Pressure chamber wall is going to be stone burnt and all of this fun stuff. So here we go back down this silly line again. I forgot. I had checked this and looked at it a little bit ago and forgot. So let's put some of this away. I don't want to lose my book. TNT can stay. I'm going to put you away as well. I don't need you. We got quite a bit of steel from that. Hey, sort, please. All right, cool. So what we need to do now is we need to go down the resonator so we can get that resonating thing working. So good Lord at the emails. Hello, everybody. I'm happy you're well aware of my presence. I need a piece of gold, and I need this thing. 1, 2. That. Do I have to cook it? Are you kidding me? Come on. I can't wait to get away from this simple stuff. I so cannot wait to get away from this simple stuff. We're going to be using Ender IO this time around because I have not used a lot of Ender IO. It's been years and years and years since I've used Ender IO for a large amount of my work in, well, I should say work, large amount of just general overall use. I usually, ever since they made the change with it where we have to spend a lot of time looking for goofy little materials like, I don't know, the grains of infinity, I kind of quit using it. Awesome. Electrum. Finally. Resonator. A resonator. We should have everything we need to make a resonator. We just needed those two things. Let's see. Do we have all of the parts? There's those. I'm pretty sure I have all of this stuff possibly. Yes. Excellent. Boom. Thank you. Thank you. You can go right there. Wrench. Always active. Beautiful. Do I have any stuff that I can use to make some of that stone burnt right now? I do. Stone burnt is polished stone in one of those. Now, you'll also notice we currently have GP running. We have 80 GP if you look at that thing in the corner. The other thing I got bored with is I got really tired, or I should say got ready, because the generator that I needed down there to run actually required GP to work. So we're dancing around and listening to the noise. Since we're in the end, the sun always shines in the end. So solar is a magnificent way of making power in the end. And I went ahead and crafted a whole bunch of solar panels. And these things are not impossible or nor expensive to craft. The only thing is they cost quite a bit of redstone. But because we did manage to get that witch data model, and I have the ability to run it occasionally, I took and just made a whole lot of redstone and cut up a bunch of stuff and used a bunch of our lapis up and used a few things. So we have at least 80 GP currently using the solar panels. And the reason why I did 80 is because from 80 to 160, we lose 33% of the power generated via the solar panels. So there's no point making any more than 80. There's 80 right there. You can count because they're one apiece. We're going to be using a lot of the extra utilities GP stuff this thing because of the fact that a lot of what we're going to need to do, especially later on down the line, is going to require us to have a lot of GP. So we're going to be doing it. On back to the island. Let's see that one. So what I'm going to do with that mess is I'm going to go back and do a little bit more mining off camera, and we'll get the silver that we need to do the summoning altar. But now that we have this, there's some GP, there's some stuff, there's some stone burn. I love this block. It's one of my favorite blocks. It's just so good looking. Ah, love it. What time is it? We got a couple of minutes. Let's grab our stuff and make our pressure chamber wall. Now that we can do all of that silliness. Where did it go? It's right there. Pressure chamber wall, we're going to need quite a bit of those. So we'll just go ahead and make 16 of them for now. That's not going to be anywhere near what we need. L is the right button. I think there's another button that I can use to do that anyway. Smart windows, tired of breaking chamber walls just to get to your items. Craft a chamber interface. And a chamber interface, if I remember correctly, is going to be a couple of these. We're going to need at least 2 of these. Normally. So that, 1, 2. All right, cool. So we're just going to wait on this stone burnt to come in so that we can make more of these walls. so that we can build a pressure chamber. Now, I may make a baby one just to start with for now, but we are eventually going to need a massive one. So pressure chamber valve is going to be a little bit of that. Let's get some pipe going and a valve. I think we're going to just make one for right now because I don't need the power to go through it. Where are we? Hello, buttons, 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 buttons. So now we're going to be into this part. We're going to have to do a few things. And this is where it's not telling us what we need. This is where it's telling you how to do things. Pressure chamber glass. What does a glass cost to make? Are you kidding me? Can I cheese that a lot? How much do we need to be able to do this? Let's get a little bit more stone burnt. Let's make a few more of these. I mean, not like necessarily cheese it, but can I make the big one right? I don't want to make the big one right now. I want to make the little one. Let's see. We are going to build this. I was thinking Pneumatic Craft would be over here, but I think we're going to build it in this corner. So let's start with the pressure chamber. I forget if you can make a 3x3 anymore. You're going to come out of there. You guys need to have a thing here and a thing. Hey, no, right there. Okay, cool. Well, let's run back over here very quickly and make a little bit more wall. Hey, no, don't lag on me, please. I don't need that. Thank you. I don't want to make too many of these. Not that it really matters. It's just it's easier to build. I don't want to waste any more stuff blowing it up than absolutely necessary. So if I can make an entire thing right now, we'll put the air in back here, I guess, for right now. I forget if I can make a 3x3 is the reason why I'm doing this. So we're going to test it really quickly. Awesome. Okay, cool. I can. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Then let's do this. Let's put the ports where they're easy to get to, and then we'll put the input output on the side we want it on. So we'll do a pressure chamber wall here. And this, again, if you don't know how these work with these pressure chamber interfaces, they have direction based on how you place them. So if you see I have an out here and an in here, this is going to be our input. So the input is going to face this way. The output for the actual thing is going to be over here facing that way. So the input can pull up from in here and put it out this direction. And then we're going to do all of that. Where did you go? Oh, I didn't put the thing back. I need to put... I was not going to do that. I was going to put the output on this side. We're going to put it right there instead. And then we're going to put the valve right there. Okay. Cool. So now we have a multi-block with a little bitty teeny tiny 3x3 critter. And these are not that bad of a deal, that small. They're just fine to be that small. It won't hurt anything at all. Now, we need to make a compressor. Let's get a compressor going. Compressor, compressor, compressor. We're going to be stuck with the basic compressor, which is going to be one of these. Do I have any endstone in there at all? I do not. Let's go ahead and make 2 of them, even though I think 2 is probably going to be overkill on a thing that size. Cool. And 2 compressors. 1, 2. Awesome. All right. Building up the pressure. Get us some burnables. Get us some cheap burnables. Get us some free burnables. Thank you. There we go. Now, I don't say we're probably going to be able to get the next step going today, but what we are going to do is we're going to go ahead and... How did I miss that? You guys need to be over here. We're going to go ahead and get this thing pressurized up and starting to actually function. So, for those of you that don't know this mod or that are watching this for the first time, this entire Pneumatic Craft, I mean, it's basically based on air pressure. Everything is used, everything works off of a certain amount of air pressure. So what we want to be careful with when we're doing certain things is that we don't do a couple of things. One of which is we don't want to overpressurize any of our pressure systems. So this thing has a number here of a max amount of 5 bar. And actually, I'm using the wrong settings entirely for you guys to be able to see that. Let's do that. So 5 bar is the max amount of power or pressure that we can use in this system before something bad happens. So what we want to try to do is we want to try to keep things under that number, but we want to keep it as close to that number as possible. So this thing has quite a few recipes that we're going to be using in this pack, especially this one and that one and that one, and I don't know what this is. That's a fortune. I didn't know you could do that. That's cool. This is how we're going to make our steel from now on, which is the reason why I wanted to get this done. And of course, we have multiple things that we're going to use. One of the main things is this is how we're going to craft all of our machine chassis for industrial or Ender IO, as well as that means these are also going to be how we're going to make the, come on, keep clicking. There it is. Those, the machine frames for thermal expansion. So yeah, we're going to need this thing for a lot of stuff. It's one of those things, I love automating this thing because it's a royal pain in the butt, but we're going to get to automate it and actually make it function this time. So we may end up with several. I don't know. Just depends on how things work. Let's get us a couple of chests and a stack of iron. We already have a bunch of compressed. Oh yeah, that's right. It's compressed steel. Are you kidding me? The only problem about building in the end, the where I built with this building, is that anything that can possibly spawn an Enderman spawns an Enderman. Okay, let's set these up so that they'll function for right now. Hey, can you get it lined up nicely? And I am going to babysit these 2 compressors for the moment. We do have the ability to do a few things, and we will be doing a few things with them eventually. For right now, we're just going to be babysitting them. But all I got to do nope, I don't want that. Where is that? Conduit, or a hopper, anything like that. You can use those as well. Always active, insert, and extract. Always active, insert. What's cool about these, or I should say what's interesting about these have in the actual interface itself, if I can find it, okay, is an item filter that we're going to be using to be able to understand or tell it what we want to do. We want it to be able to contains items, creative tab, anything like that. Basically what I want this thing to do for right now is compressed something. Now it contains, so if it's got that in there and we toss these in here, this will shove those into that interface. They're in the interface. Did you see it? Pop. We picked it up. We're going to put it into this chest and we're done. So the reason why this is the first thing you want to set up when you're playing this mod is the fact that blowing up iron or blowing up steel, especially when it's steel, it's very expensive because you lose some of it when you blow it up. This way, it's 100% every single time, not lossless. So awesome. We've got the pressure chamber hooked up and running. We've got our resonator ready to go. I'm going to be running a bunch of stone through that thing because I really love that block. And I think there's actually a couple of other blocks that this thing will make. I forget exactly. This is also going to get me another form of wireless RF transmission. It's going to get us several other ways of being able to make, come on, brain, GP, which we're going to need along down the road. It's going to be parts of the quarry that's a nightmare to make. Plus, we're going to need it for every single one of these. And every single one of these are going to be used for other stuff. So probably when we come back, you guys will see me with at least a 4x4 one of these. I usually like to make them 4x4 just so that they kind of fit nicely. But we may end up making several small ones because the small ones seem to react a little bit faster on the pressure. So let's put a couple more of those in there. And a couple more of those in there. The larger ones, they take more compressors to run. So for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be leaving this alone. I may automate it, may do a few things with it, or we may just babysit it. But for now, I think, again, we had to go the long way around to get something so simple as a little bit of silver. And in between episodes, I'm going to go get enough silver to do the rest of this mess. But I'm happy with that. That means I can kind of screw around and play around with things as we see after and do all that kind of fun stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.